All right, boys and girls, this is Math Message 3-11, the main math lesson of the day. And in this lesson, we're going to learn to use the add a group strategy to help us multiply unknown facts. So before we do that, let's do a little bit of brain warm-up. Have your whiteboard or a piece of paper ready. I'm going to show you a set of dots, and I want you to write a number model that would match that set of dots. Okay, pause the video, write your number model. Okay, I saw 2 groups of 4, and 2 groups of 4 equals 8. Okay, you may have seen it a little bit differently. Maybe you saw 4 groups of 2. 2, 2, 2, and 2. So maybe you saw 4 groups of 2, but that would still equal 8. All right, let's look at the next set of dots. Go ahead and write a number model for this picture. All right, in this picture, I saw 2 rows of 4, which equals 8. All right, maybe when you saw it, it's a possibility that maybe you saw 1, 2, 3, maybe you saw 4 columns of 2 equals 8. All right, in the last picture, go ahead and write a number model for this picture. Pause the video. Okay, I saw 3 groups of 5. 3 times 5 is 15. All right, so now going back for our math message, again, we are going to work on the strategy of add a group. Okay, this is a multiplication strategy. So sometimes when you have a multiplication fact and you don't know the answer, this is one of our strategies that we're going to learn to help us figure out the answer. All right, so let's look at a problem. Again, I hope you have whiteboard or paper out because I'm going to need you to do a sketch. All right, it says that Mrs. McMullen is going to rearrange her desks. I want you to make an array to show 5 rows of desks with 4 desks in each row. Go ahead and pause the video and do that, please. Okay, so your array should look something like this. You've got 5 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you've got 4 desks, 4 desks in each row. What would be the number model that you would write for this array that you see here? There are 5 rows of 4, so 5 times 4. If I count these by 5s, I can kind of go this way to count them. 5, 10, 15, 20. Remember, when we're multiplying by 5, we can just count by 5s. All right, so 5 times 4 equals 20. Now keep that array on your board or on your paper because Mrs. McMullen realized that that would not be enough desks. So she added another group. Let me see if I can pull this down out of our way. I can't really pull that down. Let's see what this says. Oh, she added another row. So Mrs. McMullen realized that that would not be enough desks, so she added another row. So go ahead and add another row onto your picture or onto your array. Okay. All right, so now how many desks does she have set up in her classroom? Now before, you knew that this was 20 desks, right? And so all I need to do is add on 4 more. Now I want to look at that in terms of multiplication fact. You said that this was 5 rows of 4 equals 20. Well, now I have 6 rows of 4. And so if I have 6 rows of 4, that equaled 24. Could I use, if I had the fact 6 times 4 and I didn't know what the answer was, could I use 5 times 4? Because I know that, that's an easy fact because it's times 5. And then because I know that I have 6 rows of 4 instead of 5 rows of 4, I can just add on another row of 4. So 20 plus 4 equals 24. Okay, again, this is called the add a group strategy. I can use a helper fact, a fact that I do know, to help me solve maybe a fact that I don't know. Let's look at another problem. All right, so now in this problem, I want you to draw a picture of this. It says Jackson has 2 boxes of crayons with 8 crayons in a box. So how many crayons does he have all together? So go ahead and sketch a picture to model this problem. Pause the video. 2 boxes of crayons with 8 crayons in each box. Okay, so my picture looks like this. 2 boxes of crayons, 8 crayons in each box. So how many crayons do I have all together? I have 16, right? What would be my number model to go along with this problem? I have 2 groups of 8, so 2 times 8, and I know that anytime I have 2 times 8, that's just a doubles fact. 8 and 8 is 16. So that's an easy fact, isn't it? We'll keep that picture on your paper. So Jackson has 2 boxes of crayons with 8 crayons in each box. How many crayons does he have altogether? Oh, sorry, here's my new question down here. What if Jackson got another box of crayons? All right, so go ahead and draw another box of crayons. What is my new number model now? Okay, my new number model is 3 groups of 8. Now, if I would have given you 3 times 8 in the beginning, you might not have known what the answer was to 3 times 8. But did you know the answer to 2 times 8? You knew that 2 times 8 was 16. That was 2 groups of 8. Well, now I'm going to do 3 groups of 8. So all I need to do is add on another 8, right? So I know that 16 plus 8 more would equal 24. All right, so I can use 2 times 8 to help me solve 3 times 8. All right, let's go ahead and get your workbooks out and turn to page 90. So go ahead and pause this video until you get turned to page 90, please. Okay, on page 90, number 1, it says sketch a picture to show 2 rows of jars with 7 jars in each row. How many jars are there in all? Go ahead and sketch that picture. Pause the video if you need to. So there's 2 rows of jars. There's 7 jars in each row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? So I want to know, how many jars do I have in all? Well, I know if I have 7 here and I have 7 here, I know that's 14, right? What is my multiplication number model to go with that picture? I've got 2 rows of 7 equals 14. All right, now it says use a colored pencil to add another row of jars to show 3 rows of jars, or 3 rows of 7 jars. Okay, so now maybe if you don't have a colored pencil, maybe you could just do the row in a different shape. So now I'm going to do another row, but this time maybe you're going to use X's instead, just so that you can make it look different. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay. All right, now the next part of the question says, I added 1 group of what? I added 1 more group of 7 jars. So write a number model to describe your new picture. Go ahead and pause the video. So my new number model is 3 groups of 7. And how could I use the 2 groups of 7 to help me do the 3 groups of 7? Well, I already know that 2 times 7 is 14, right? What do I need to do? I just need to add another group of 7, right? So 14 plus 7 equals 21. Now it said, how did knowing 2 times 7 help you figure out 3 times 7? Go ahead and pause the video and try to put into words how 2 times 7 helped you solve 3 times 7. Okay, here's an example of a really good answer that another student had answered in another year. So somebody else said, if I know that 2 times 7 equals 14, I just added another row of 7. So 14 plus 7 equals 21. All right, let's go ahead and go over to the next page. Suppose you don't know the answer to 6 times 3. What could you use as a helper fact for 6 times 3? Now, boys and girls, let me talk about these helper facts. I'm going to get a new sheet for a second. I want you to think about what helper fact means. Helper facts are those easy facts that you might already know. Okay? I want us to think of some facts that we might already know, that we've already practiced this year. What have we practiced so far this year? We've practiced times 2, haven't we? We know that anything times 2, that's just a doubles fact. I just take that other factor or that other number and I just double it. So those are easy facts to do. That could be a helper fact. What could times 2 help me solve? Times 2 could help me solve times 3, couldn't it? Because if I know 2 groups of something, I could just do 3 groups. I just have to add on another group. All right, let's think about another helper fact. Times 5, right? We've already been working on times 5. We know that anything times 5, we can just take that other factor or that other number, and we're just going to count by 5s. Okay? So what could times 5 help us to solve? Well, if I know what 5 groups of something is, could I just add on another group to do 6 groups of that? Okay, so I can use times 2 as a helper fact to do times 3. I could use times 5 as a helper group to do times 6. What's another helper fact that we can do this year? We know times 10 really well, don't we? Anytime I multiply by 10, I just take the other factor or the other number and I put a 0 on the end. So 10s are really easy. Could I use times 10 to maybe help me do times 11? Because if I know what 10 groups are, if I needed to do 11 groups, I could just add on another group. Okay? Now, actually, 11s are a really easy one too. We're going to learn strategies for 11s later on. But for now, I'm just going to tell you, you can use 10s to help you solve 11s. Boys and girls, this is really a lot like when you were in 2nd grade or even 1st grade and you were doing your doubles plus 1s, okay? If you knew that 7 plus 7 is 14, well then you know that 7 plus 8 is 15, right? Because all you needed to do was add one more. This is your doubles plus 1 strategy you learned with addition. Now, it's the same way with multiplication, except now you're not adding on just one more, you're adding on one more group. So if I have 2 times 7 equals 14, then 3 times 7, I got to add on another group of 7. So I have to do 14 plus 7 equals 21. Okay, and the more we practice it, the more it's just going to become second nature. But it's just like when you were practicing your doubles plus 1 in 1st and 2nd grade. You use those helper facts, those facts that you already know, to help you do facts that maybe you don't already know. All right, so let's go back to this page. So suppose you don't know the answer to 6 times 3. What's really close to 6 that you do know really well? 5, right? I could use 5 times 3 to help me. I can do that easily. 5, 10, 15, right? My answer is 15. So now I want you to use pictures, numbers, or words to show how you can use 5 times 3 to help you figure out 6 times 3. go ahead and pause the video and come up with a picture to show how 5 times 3 can help you solve 6 times 3. Go ahead, pause. Okay, here's an example of a picture that I've gotten in the past. So if I know that 5 times 3 is 15, somebody drew 5 groups of 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups of 3, and we know that 5 times 3 is 15. If I need to do 6 groups of 3, I just added on another group of 3, and I can kind of just put that on there right there. Now I have 6 times 3. What did I do? All I did was add on that other group of 3. So I added on 3 more to that 15. That would give me 18. All right, so 6 times 3 is 18. All right, let's look at the try this. It says write a fact you do not know, then write a helper fact that can help you solve it. Okay, so boys and girls, think of, remember, you can use times 2 to help you solve times 3. You can use times 5 to help you solve times 6. You can use times 10 to help you solve times 11. So maybe choose a fact here that you don't know, maybe something times 3, something times 6, or something times 11, because those aren't easy facts to do. And then I want you to write down the helper fact that would help you solve it. I'm going to go ahead and let you do this part on your own, and that is going to be it for lesson, what are we on right now? 3-11, I believe. All right.